Your most expensive employee did 3 hours of work last week that you will never bill anybody for. And it's not on a single report. It doesn't show up as a line item anywhere, but it absolutely shows up in your margin. The cost that never gets invoiced and never gets tracked. There's a name for that, and it's called sales engineering. And if you're not intentional about it, it quietly eats your agency from inside. So let me show you. So credit where it's due. The framework I'm building on today comes from Carl Sakis, who advises agencies. He wrote a piece on what he calls sales engineering. And the second I read it, I saw it through my lens, which is the money lens. So that's the spin I'm going to put on it. Here's the idea. Your salespeople run the sales process fine, but sometimes a deal is complex enough that they need a real expert in the room. A senior developer, a lead strategist, a designer, somebody who actually knows what it'll take to deliver the thing you're trying to sell. And that's called sales engineering. You're pulling a normally billable person off billable work to help scope and close a deal. Sales engineering equals billable people doing non-billable sales work. And notice what that is. That's your billable time from your highest cost people spent on a deal that might not even close. Carl's right that you need it. I'm here to tell you what it costs. Now, if you've watched me before, you know the number I care about. The agencies that thrive keep people costs at or under 55% of adjusted gross income. 55, 25, 20. People, overhead, profit. That's the discipline. So here's the problem. When your senior developer spends 6 hours scoping a deal that never closes, that time still got paid. You paid for it, but it produced zero revenue. So it doesn't just disappear, it moves. It quietly slides out of your billable column and into your cost of being in business. And because nobody's writing it down, it never gets managed. That's how a beautiful profit and loss can still hide a margin leak. Profit looks fine until you realize your most expensive people are spending a chunk of every month on deals that go nowhere. So the question isn't should you do sales engineering? You have to. The question is, when is it worth it? And when are you just burning your best people on a maybe? So Carl lays out 10 factors for when to pull a billable expert into a deal. I'm not going to read you all 10. Go read his piece, it's good. There'll be a link in the description. But let me give you the ones that, from where I sit, actually move the math. Big budget. If the deal is large enough, a few hours of expert scoping is cheap insurance. The investment is proportional to the prize. High complexity, new technology, a lot of unknowns. This is exactly where a salesperson guesses wrong, and a wrong guess costs you on delivery. And here's the one I want you to really hear. Work that's different from what you usually do. Because when it's unfamiliar, one of two things happen. Your salesperson underscopes it, prices it too low, and now you're delivering at a loss for the next 8 months. Or they overscope it out of fear, the number gets scary, and you lose the deal you should have won. Either way, the bill lands on your margin. That's not an operations problem, that's a profit problem, and that's precisely the deal where the expert in the room pays for himself. Okay, so you've decided a deal earns it. Who do you send in? Carl's got a great rule for this. He calls it the cheapest competent available person. And I love that because it's a financial sentence dressed up in a staffing decision. Cheapest because you don't put your $300 an hour person on it when a capable senior can do it. Competent because sending someone cheap who botches the scope costs you 10 times what you save. And available because pulling someone off a live client project to chase a maybe has its own role. Notice every word in that rule is a cost word. That's the whole point. The right person for sales engineering isn't the most senior, it's the one where the math works out. Now here's my favorite part, and this is where I get a little excited because this is the move most agency owners miss. You don't have to eat this cost at all. Carl points to a few ways to shrink it. Use scoping templates so you're not rebuilding the wheel every time. Bring your project managers in before your high-cost experts because project managers are good at scoping and it's a better use of the hour. Be conservative. Don't pull an expert in until the prospect is actually qualified and serious. All good. But here's the one that changes your numbers. Paid discovery. You charge for the scoping. That deep, expensive expert work that you used to give away during the sales process, you turn it into a small paid first engagement. Think about what that does. The unbilled time that was leaking out of your 55% just became revenue. It moved back across the line. Now your expert hours are billable again, and you've also got a prospect who put money down, which means they're serious. That is the difference between an agency that treats sales engineering as a cost of doing business and one that treats it as something to manage. One is bleeding quietly, the other is getting paid. So let's bring this home, because I'm a CPA, not a sales coach, and you might be wondering why I'm even talking about your pipeline. And here's why. Most accountants look in the rearview mirror. They tell you what happened last year. They'd never catch this because unbilled sales time doesn't have its own line on a tax return. It's invisible to a historian. But when you work with a lot of agencies over a lot of years, and I've been doing this more than 23 years, you start to see where the money actually hides. And it hides in exactly stuff like this. Time that got paid for and never got billed. Costs nobody's tracking because nobody gave them a name. Run your agency by the numbers, and this stops being invisible. You decide which deal earns your expert's time, you send the cheapest competent person, and wherever you can, you get paid for the work instead of giving away. That's not a sales tactic. That's protecting your margin. That's keeping more of what you make. So here's what I want you to do this week. Ask yourself one question. How many hours did my most expensive people spend on deals that didn't close last quarter? If you don't know the answer, that's the tell. That's money you're not managing. And if you want a second set of eyes on where your agency's margin is actually leaking, that's what we do. Go to CraigCodyandCompany.com, book an analysis. We'll look at the real numbers and we tell you the truth about what we find. The link's in the description and pinned in the comments. Because the goal is always the same. Keep more of what you make. All right, before you go, if you're an agency owner and you want to keep more of what you make, I've got two things for you. First, grab a copy of my book, The 12 Biggest Tax Mistakes That Cost Agency Owners Thousands. It breaks down the exact mistakes I see every day and how to avoid them. Second, if you want to see what this looks like for your business, get a free tax analysis. We'll take a look at what you're doing now and show you where you might be overpaying. And if this video helped you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future strategies on tax planning, cash flow, and building a more profitable agency. I'll see you in the next video.